Welcome back to Sandra Sells Tells. Real estate, real people, real Plymouth. I'm Sandra Smith with Gibson Sotheby's International Realty here on the South Shore. Today, we are diving into the legal side of real estate with someone many agents in Massachusetts know well from his educational videos and webinars, and probably some closings. Attorney Michael Baird from Kellem, Baird & Kavanaugh is here with me today. He spends a lot of time helping agents understand the legal side of transactions, avoiding pitfalls, and making sure deals actually make it to the closing table. We're going to talk about what agents, buyers, and sellers should really know about the legal side of real estate. So let's get started, and welcome, Mike.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you.
Yeah.
I enjoy your webinars and your educational seminars and things that you do, and obviously your sense of humor.
Thanks.
Even your emails are hilarious. So I'm excited to have you on here and dive into the whole piece of real estate law. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up practicing real estate law.
So I have been practicing now for about 20 years, and which is kind of amazing to say. But and when I first went to law school, I knew I was going to have to work full time. So real estate is a very cyclical business, as I would find out 15 years into it. So it's very cyclical. So at any time, law firms are sort of hiring people just randomly. And I was one of those random hires my first year of law school. I went to work at a law firm as just like a legal assistant, and they happened to be handling real estate closings, and that's what they did. But I do remember when I first went into law school, I knew emphatically the one thing I knew I did not want to do was real estate. But then
and here you are.
But I know. But then I actually learned about it and learned about what it was, and I really grew into it, and I've really grown to really love it. So,
well, awesome. So then, what made you decide to start doing educational videos and webinars for agents?
I wanted to do that as a value add, and also it was something that was like it was fun for me to do.
Yeah.
It was just something different that I could engage in, something I could really sort of sink my teeth into. And it wound up being a nice little value add for a lot of agents that I throw things out there to, and people tune in. We have some classes are more popular than others, but for the most part, it's been really good, and it's been a really fun way to meet people, and it just kind of it's like an extra thing to do that's fun for me to sink my teeth into. So mostly it was the value add, but then I really like doing it. So.
Well, you do it well, and
Thank
I love
you.
the value add. And whenever I can jump on, I definitely do, because I'm just one of those people that I always feel like I can always learn something, and I might already know what your topic is, but I can always take something away from it or just see it from a different perspective. So I'm really glad that you do it personally, and love that I got on the list of the invite.
There you go.
Because I'm trying to always keep learning. So you probably get this question a lot, but what is the biggest misconception people have about real estate attorneys?
So this question actually raised two stories to mind. I was at a family party one time, and someone told me they were selling their family condo, and they said, I don't need an attorney for that, do I? And my answer was, I don't know. All of my clients have one. And then another time I was on the phone with a couple that was looking to hire somebody, and sort of I was talking to the wife, and they were trying to get the sense of the fee, and then the guy in the back, this sort of loud voice in the background was like, "You know right now how much the fee is going to be. You know how much right now." I said, "Okay." I said, "Who is that?" And so I talked to him, and he goes, "As far as I understand it, you're just sliding papers across the table, and it's all the same. What's your best price? What's your lowest price you can do this at?" I just said, "Sounds like I'm not the lawyer for you." And we got off the phone. And I think the biggest misconception is that you literally are just getting the stack of paper from the lender, handing it to the buyer to sign, and then they sign it. That's the end game. That is the easy part for sure. But getting to the closing table is the real legal work. Yeah.
I definitely agree with that 100%. And people ask me questions all the time about pieces of paper in that transaction. And I'm like, I am not the attorney, and I'm not going to answer that because I know you guys help with
my life, man.
The purchase and sales, and whether you're drafting it for the seller or you're reviewing it for the buyer. And there's a lot of mumble jumble and things that come up in there that's your language, not mine. And I always try to tell people that is not mine. Or people say, can't you draft the purchase and sales? It's just a standard form. I'm like, I could, but that's not my specialty. So I think you guys get that bad rap just like we do. All you do is open up doors.
Yeah,
and
sure.
get a big paycheck.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But there's so much more that we do.
Sure. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about the legal side of real estate. At what point should buyers or sellers involve an attorney in a transaction?
The most common time that I get called is after an accepted offer from a buyer. I get called, we had an offer accepted. This would be Mondays and Tuesdays for me are big because the deals come together over the weekend.
Yep.
And then Mondays and Tuesdays, hey, we had an accepted offer on this house, and now we need an attorney. And I was like, oh, that's so weird. That's exactly what I do. So, yeah. So on the seller side, sometimes when they think about listing, sometimes I get contacted that way.
Yep.
But probably I'd say half of my sellers come to me that way. The other half, it's once the offer's been accepted. So around that offer stage.
Okay, very good. And what are some legal issues that surprise people the most during a transaction?
I would say there's a couple of misconceptions out there about the stages that I have to, that I want to, that you consistently have to educate people on. The home inspection is not a to-do list for the seller. You can make requests and the seller can say yes or no. And as the seller, you can get upset about the requests that the folks have. You can say yes or no. When it comes to the home inspection, this is what I tell the seller. I say, imagine that a mental health professional is looking at your adult children and telling them everything and you get a report back about why they're not perfect. That's what a home inspection is. A home inspection is sort of a guide of how to own the house. Again, it's not a to-do list. It's not something to get past. It's something to work through. So that's one thing. The other thing, and this comes up sometimes when you go to sell, is the town permitting stuff. So if you have an open permit with a town and it hasn't been released, that will come up during your sale period. And what we're seeing now, what's new now, is the condominium approval process with lenders is becoming very, very complicated and very in-depth. And that is something that really needs time. And you want to make sure that your condominium, if you live in a large condo complex and you have an association or a smaller one and it's a little less formal, you just want to make sure that they're communicating consistently with your buyer's lender.
Very good. And that is a tough one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys, I know each law firm is different. Do you guys try to get the condo docs for buyers if you have the buyer side and deal with the association?
We do, but my main focus on condo docs is always the rules and regulations.
Yeah.
Because that's going to really impact, if you can keep an alpaca, if you can, if you have no commercial vehicles, if you can, the different things you're allowed to do and not do. I've seen restrictions that, will only allow an American flag to be flown. I've seen restrictions on condominiums that were did I tell the story about the DNA database?
No.
So there's a condo association out there that keeps a DNA. If you're going to have a pet, you have to submit a DNA sample
of the dog.
Of the dog.
Of the pet?
Of the pet to the association.
Whoa.
And if you don't clean up your dog poop, they will run the test and you will get a bill for like $1,500. Like for something outrageous.
My gosh.
But guess what happened? People started cleaning up the poop.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
So and condos are getting a little bit more involved, but I would say that those.
Well, that's extreme.
Yeah, they can be fun, but in terms of it's safe to assume that most condominiums adhere to the statute.
Yeah.
And the nitty gritty is storage, parking, and rules and regs.
Yeah. So that's good to know that you review that for buyers as well too. So excellent. What's something buyers sign without realizing how important it actually is?
The actual impact of the as-is clause.
Okay.
They understand the concept when they're putting in a house that they're buying it as is.
Yep.
When we review the purchase and sale agreement, I go over it with them. You're buying this as is. You've had your home inspection. Once you take title and take ownership, all the problems are yours. It could happen the next day. The issue could happen the next day. the issue could happen 3 months later. Unless you have reason to believe the seller was deceptive, and unless you can prove the seller was deceptive, then you're buying that issue as is. On the other end, is that from a seller's perspective, they're selling the house as is. So they're selling it at the time of inspection. So if something changes from time of inspection or purchase and sale agreement to the closing, it's on them to fix. So it could be like the day before the closing and your heat goes. Guess what?
They have to fix it.
You're fixing the heat. So
That's good to know.
yeah. So it's sometimes you luck. Sometimes the timing works against you. Sometimes it works for you. When we sold house number 1, I had my heat go, and I had to replace my boiler prior to the closing. So I would say the people understand the as-is clause, but then the actual impact of it after the fact is when they kind of are like, okay,
All right.
yeah.
So that's good to know too, like from a seller. So say I have a buyer buying one, and I currently have one under contract, as is, right? Mm-hmm. But if something was to go wrong before we get to the closing table, that's on the seller. They can't come back and say to me like, I know the water heater died, but you're buying it as is. It's their responsibility.
Yeah. It's also the misconception that, and sellers will say, well, no, they're buying this as is. Like, as is, as of the date of the agreement, as of the date of the agreement, the stove was working.
That was working.
Or something was working.
All right.
Now
good to know.
So the seller so that door swings both ways.
All right. That's good to know.
Yep.
So you work closely with agents. What do the best agents do that help a transaction go smoothly?
They prepare their people.
Yep.
They maintain a professional relationship with them. Most realtors get really, really close with their clients, and that's fine to maintain that relationship. But I would say they always prepare the people up front. And I think the best agents, and maybe this is something that I don't know about as much, but it seems like they've hired their clients. I feel like there are some agents who have made the decision. So this situation is a troublesome situation, and I'm just not going to deal with it. I would say that they prepare their people well and they hire their clients.
All right.
Yep.
Very good. And I'll agree with you on that. That's what I try to do as well.
Yeah.
What are some common mistakes that you see agents make that can create a legal problem?
Yeah. We want to make clear what is included in terms of personal property, in terms of fixtures that are getting taken away. I've had situations where a woman would sign an agreement to sell her house, and she was then digging up her rose bushes. Well, no, those got sold, but these rose bushes belong to my grandmother or whatever. No, they got sold with the house, so now that's part of it. Pool equipment is rife for issues because you have. What's the pool without the vacuum? Or what use is the vacuum to someone selling a house? They may or may not have a pool now, but if I'm the buyer, maybe it's an old vacuum. Maybe I don't want it. So like old personal stuff that people just assume that someone else will want. Matching paint, believe it or not.
Yeah.
The seller just decides, this paint matches the walls. I'll definitely get it done. Yeah, I'm going to want it. So I would say what's included. A lot of agents, and it's really hard to do, is they hesitate on disclosures when they know that it could be a potential issue to a buyer. They don't necessarily want to disclose something that they kind of know about, but will be problematic. And that's a big conversation we have when they're saying like, geez, I know about this. Do I have to disclose it? And I would say, yes, you do.
Disclose.
I know. But the thing is, half of buyers will care, half won't. So it's you may find a buyer that it doesn't bother. You're probably better off disclosing everything.
Yeah, I agree. And I have actually seen that, and I've had sellers that want to take that rose bush or a particular thing, and we disclose that right up front.
Yeah.
Seller is taking X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Chandelier in the living room, but will be replaced. But I do try to tell some sellers, just replace it before we list it.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good way to go.
Somebody doesn't fall in love with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to go.
But you never know. So what is the biggest mistake you see agents make that makes attorneys cringe?
Timelines.
Timelines.
The issue I'm seeing right now is timelines.
Okay.
Imagine this. Here's the workflow. Okay, lenders are trying to get realtors referrals. So lenders will say, this is how I, if I may date myself here. This is how I tell people. As realtors, you are the hot chick, right?
Yep.
The
Thank you.
lenders, yeah. Hey. Well, it's, for some of us, it's less of a stretch than others, right? So, lender is the jock, and the jock wants to get the hot chick, and the jock will tell the hot chick anything to get the hot chick, right? And the attorneys are like the dorks on the side, being like, well, "Why do they keep falling for this?" But they do. So I would say. To say, oh, my lender says they can turn it around in 3 weeks. My lender says they can turn it around in 2 weeks. So that promise is getting made, and then the lender or the loan officer is turning around to their team, screaming at everybody to get that thing done in the time frame that they've promised. And that's a sprint to sort of like shortness. So it's like you wonder why UPS forms are free. It's because FedEx forms are free, right? Once one person starts doing it, then everyone starts doing it. Because sure, if the buyer gets all the paperwork into the lender and the underwriter can look at it timely and everything is really clean and the title looks really good and and there's no problems at all, sure, maybe we can close in 3 weeks, right?
Yep.
But if any one of those things comes up, then that's going to create an issue. So I think the question that I would throw to a lot of agents, and the agents that I'm really close with, I've talked about this, is, what is the less stressful situation? A 5-week closing or even a 6-week closing where everything is, pretty well taken care of in a regular time frame, or a 3-week closing that we now know we have to extend out to a 4-week closing, because something has come up. So that's the big thing that I would say.
And I generally tell, I was at a listing appointment last night too, and they were asking me what the timeline is. And I said, it's generally 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You get an offer, and they've got 10 days to do any inspections, get the purchase and sale sign, and then go from there.
I will say that's been an offshoot. I don't think that was an intentional offshoot of the new home inspection bylaw, but it definitely has been. So suddenly there's more time between offer and purchase and sale, and then we're going from there.
Yeah. Well, I think I've kind of always just done it that way. Plan on 45 days, 60 days, 6 weeks, put it out like realistically. If it's cash, sometimes it's sooner, but not, and I've had cash say, let's close in 3 weeks, and it doesn't happen because there's still so many other pieces that have, you got to get the title, you got to get the MLC, like something could come up on the title. Yeah.
With deference to my lender friends, by the way. Yeah. They're not all like that.
That's true.
So we'll be honest and tell you what's going on.
And I do ask lenders whether I have the buy side or sell side, like realistically, where are they in this process? Like, what do you need? And they will say, like, 30 days from the signed purchase and sales, not 30 days from the signed offer from the purchase and sales. So, because I don't like giving people false hope. So I want to prepare my sellers and buyers the same way. Let's go back to, you said timelines there too, because I know Fridays are difficult. In our world, in the real estate world, like trying to get something signed. I think since COVID, a lot of people don't work all day Friday. In the summer, we all cut out early, trying to enjoy the sunshine if we can with family. So, and the end of the month, I know, is a nightmare too, trying to get everything and get recorded. Ideally, what's your favorite days to close or have things signed?
Wednesdays, Thursdays.
Okay.
Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Good to know.
Yep.
Good to know. All right. Is there something as agents we should stop promising to clients?
I think we may have discovered that, but also, the whole timeline thing.
Okay, perfect. Very good. All right. Massachusetts is an attorney state. How does that change the process compared to other states?
We certify title, which is different, and we will. There's something, I'm going to get into the title nitty gritty here, but there's something in the law called there's something that exists called an improperly discharged mortgage. And let's say you had a mortgage and lender A, then sold to lender B, then sold to lender C. We pay off the mortgage and the discharge comes from lender A. It should come from lender C. That's the most common chicken nuggets garden variety title issue that we see. In other states, that's not an issue. So every once in a while, I'll come across a title that was done by a title company, an out-of-state title company, and that improperly discharged mortgage will be there. And then I'll call that title company and I'll say, hey, you guys did this. And they'll say, hey, not our problem, because they're not certifying title.
Okay.
Other attorneys' offices, I can call them and say, hey, this is like, oh, yeah, I know I'm on the hook. So, I mean, that problem is so pervasive. There are companies in this world you can hire to track down that missing paperwork. Also, I would say that as attorneys, we do tend to give a more comprehensive look at things from a legal standpoint. So I can look at, say, a trust and just verify whether or not, I can give a legal opinion on a trust and see if things were done properly, and they now can convey from the trust. I can look at a LLC certificate, or we know how to do conveyances from different entities. So we kind of, as attorneys, I guess, can bring that higher level in theory, we can bring that higher level of scrutiny.
I like it. I like it. What should buyers know about the purchase and sales agreement that they often overlook?
What did I write down here?
We should already know this.
I know, right? They have to respond to their lenders timely. When their lender is asking for paperwork, when their lender is asking for paperwork, they need it. When their lender is asking for things, different things that they need it. And they also want to recognize that closing date, that's a date of performance. So law is the business of magic words. And the magic words are time is of the essence. When we say time is of the essence, it means that closing date is a legal term. So if you don't close on that closing date, you've now violated the contract. So maybe take the day off from work.
Right.
Maybe get things lined up so you can both be there. So everyone can be present at the closing. That's
and a lot of people take that.
Yep.
Yeah. Some are excited and do, but others don't. So what is something sellers should do before listing their home to avoid legal headaches later?
I thought about this. They should actually talk to the building department, see if there's any old permits that they have that they've yet to pull. And I got an idea recently from, I think, someone you had on the podcast recently, to get your system serviced. Yeah. That's a good idea. Perhaps purchase a plot plan for the property, as opposed to a survey. Surveys can run anywhere from $1,800 to $2,500. A plot plan is like $150.
And where do they get that plot plan?
If you know a conveyancing attorney, they will know a plot plan person.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, and it's just a snapshot based on public records.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad idea at all to get a plot plan looked at, and that way you sort of weed out any neighbor issues with driveways, fences, whatever. Yep.
That is a great tip.
Thanks.
I just learned something. So thank you so much about the plot plan, because people ask all the time, do you have a plot plan? And we don't. I use an app that hunters use, actually, to show me where the lot lines are. But it just shows me where it's at. It doesn't give me, anything more like detail. But
like where the deer are or anything like that?
Yeah, if I zoom in. What are some trends or legal issues you are seeing more of lately?
I'm seeing that I think that costs are really impeding what people are willing to do.
Okay.
And they're creating issues where issues before weren't really that bad. The cost to fix things is now higher. The cost to repair, say, Title V systems are a lot more. So people are doing them in different phases. So I think that I would have to say off the top of my head, the costs are basically impacting things. And for the first time, actually, I'm realizing now, I'm getting feedback from clients when we've talked and gone over something. My advice has now been vetted by chat. Like clearly they're running what I say through ChatGPT and then sending me an email with everything. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'll send over a draft purchase and sale, and I'll say, hey, here's the most recent purchase and sale. Send it back. And then they'll come back with clearly comments vetted by chat. So I've got a bone up on my chat speak. So yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Wow. We really, AI is crazy, and even people are using it.
Sure.
But I've noticed that too from buyers when they send me a list, or sellers, or in negotiating different things.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah.
There's been a lot of legal talk here. I appreciate that. So I'm gonna go off script here and tell me, what do you like to do for fun in your spare time?
I really have played a lot of golf lately. And like 18-year-old me really hates 49-year-old me. But I play, I've been playing some golf, and we really love to travel. We have one daughter that's in college down in Georgia. We do enjoy going to see her, and we like to go someplace warm every winter. And
have you gone this winter yet?
This winter, we went down to Georgia just for a few days this winter. We haven't gone anywhere nice this year. And my younger daughter does like theater and scouts and stuff around town, so we're involved with that. That's a lot of fun as well. But yeah, that's what we like to do.
Very nice. And what's your go-to South Shore spot?
Oh man,
to take the family or just yourself?
Yeah, I love the Levitate Backyard in Marshfield.
Yeah.
It's a great spot if you've never been.
It's fun.
We live about 4 doors down from the beach, so that beach in the summertime is really great. And the best bar in Marshfield. I know we're in the boss season right now, but the Salt Marsh Winery Bar in Scituate. It used to be the Rivershed, now it's a Scituate.
Okay.
The restaurant is good.
Yep.
The restaurant is good. The bar is phenomenal. They have every drink you could possibly imagine, and they're really great.
Good to know.
So,
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Great spot.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
So what if somebody's thinking of selling or buying, or another agent listening is like, hey, I like this guy. He's very approachable. How do we reach you?
I maintain a blog at massrealtylaw.com. My contact information is on there. I'm up on socials, Michael Baird, Real Estate Attorney, on Facebook and Instagram, and I should probably tighten that up. And our new website for the firm is kbclawllc.com, and you can always reach us there.
And say that one more time.
kbclawllc.com.
All right. That sounds pretty easy to remember, and I hope you guys all wrote that down. But it's been great having you on here, and I always end my episode with a key of the week. So this week's key of the week is real estate transactions involve a lot of moving parts. Agents, lenders, inspectors, and attorneys. One of the biggest things I've learned over the years is that having the right professionals around the table can make or break a deal. So that is why having an experienced attorney, such as Michael, who doesn't just review paperwork, they help protect buyers and sellers from problems they may not even see coming. And that is very true. So I love having the right people on my team. And when I say I have a team, that's who I'm talking about. The attorneys that I work with, the lenders that I work with, the inspectors, other people that I need to bring in that we might come across a problem. So thank you, Mike, so much for sharing your knowledge and joining us today. I appreciate it. If you're an agent looking to learn more about the legal side of real estate, or a buyer or a seller who wants to understand the process better, connecting with an experienced professionals like Mike makes all the difference. Please reach out to them. And as always, if you're buying, selling, or just curious about the South Shore real estate market, I'm always happy to help. This has been Sandra Sells Tells, Real Estate, Real People, Real Plymouth.